Welcome back to just another video of JavaFX development. In this video I will show you how to use record table. A record table is a set of registries. Each registry represents an object and each object has attributes. An attribute represents a column of the registry and you can populate the registry with many registries as you want. First of all, I'll open VS Code and scene build. To create a new Java project, you need to press some keys. For example, I'll delete the current project and here on VS Code, I'll press the following keys: Ctrl, Shift, P, then create Java project, and from the list option, select JavaFX. Put a name for the package, for example, classes, and for the project's name, another name, for example, TableView. Select the directory where the project will be stored. And when you see a standby line like this, you press enter button, write the letter and enter button, open the project, and here on the left side of the screen you will see Java projects. Just expand this option and the project will appear here. Here in the scene build you can open a current project. JavaFX by default creates two controllers. A controller is a Java class where you can put some code and do whatever you want. Here you can see the default controllers JavaFX create by default. And you can see here in the folder resources, in, in classes, primary and secondary, these files are XML files which define the user interface structure. So to open primary, for example, you need to go here and open project, table view, main, resources, classes, and double click. When you double click on the view, will appear here the view. If I delete the content, here the changes are made automatically. So that's the main advantage when you are working on the designer directly. The XML is built automatically without any effort. So it's good to know that because of that way you can focus on specific things, and things that are not very important don't are not a waste of time. So here you can search for specific objects. For example, I'll put here a pane and save changes, and here in the view, changes are made automatically. For the sake of simplicity, I'll delete the secondary controller and the secondary view. When you put here a new element, you need to provide some information about the element. The most important is the FX ID. So you click on the object, and here in the menu code you see FX ID. This FX ID will identify this graphical element to be used in the primary controller. So, for example, fxml pane, the object is called pane, and that's all. If you want to manipulate the pane properties or add some information, just you need to create a method and call that method to make changes here. So, for example, I'll delete the default method, and here I'll implement an interface initializable. Then I'll override the method, the interface method initialized. This method will execute automatically when the user interface is called. For example, here on app class, you see that there are a few methods, and here here is the main user interface, the main view. For example, here is the main view, primary fxml, and its name is here because when you call this method, the view is loaded on the stage, and the stage will show the view you passed before. So for example, if I change the name of this, I need to change the name of the file so the code doesn't cracks and stops unexpectedly. If I want to change, for example, the paint's color, I need to access the paint and, for example, get style, sheets, set background. And set background, for example, will change the the background of the Java pane. So new background, new background fill. In here, I'll pass the parameters. For example, color yellow, and no references. When I execute this, the color will not be displayed. Why is that? Because when you change some code of primary of the view, you need to link the controller, this controller, with the view, with the user interface. And to link these two resources, just you need to specific here that primary controller will be linked to this specific view. So I'll stop the execution, and here you can see the changes introduced by SendBuild. I'll compile the project again, and here you can see the changes. So it's very important to know that if you do some changes and they don't reflect, they don't happen on the user interface, maybe you are missing the instruction of linking the controller with the view. So put attention of that. Put attention to that. The next step is to create the model. The model, for example, will reside in in a different package, which will be named models. And models, here you need to add a new class. For example, a class weapon. Here you need to specify the attribute names and their types for later use. So here I'll be using simple string property to store the name of a weapon. For example, weapon country price. This price will be double property, simple double property, and that's all for the moment. I'll create a new constructor, and here the methods get weapon, get country, and get price. Get value. The setters methods. The setters method, I will not be using them because I just need to get the information. So here is my model. And after my model is created, I need to insert here the table view. So here I look for table view and put here, put it, put the table here, the table view. And here I click on the table view, and assign it a fixed ID. So I I will be calling it table view. Each table view has columns. So for my example, there will be 3 columns. For example, my model tells me weapon. The second one is country. And the third one is price. Each column has its own FX ID. So call weapon, call country, and the last one is column price. That's all. So when I run the project, the result is a table view. I just need to make some changes to fit my window with the table view and the pane. So how can I do that? The pane has its own sizes. For example, here in layout, the pane is 956 and the height is 593. So I'll test the sizes, and the table is visually fitting the the window. So how do I populate the record table? It's very easy. Just you need to focus on the controller class And when you create here the table view, the fxml added this information. So you need table view, fxml table view, and table columns are necessary. Call country, call price, and the table view needs to be parameterized as well as table column. So don't forget that, because if you don't tell that information to the controller, if you don't specify that, errors will appear on the execution. So table view will contain the type weapon. So the type is weapon. The next step is to parameterize with the two types. The first will be weapon, and the second one will be the type of the attribute. The type is string, so here will be string. The same thing will happen here. And here is a special case because the attribute is different from simple string property, is simple double property. So price will be double. Once you created the reference to the columns and to the table view in general, you need to build the table view. So here you need to call weapon and set cell value factory and create inside a new property value factory. Here you need a chain. Inside the empty chain, you need to write the attribute's name from your model. Here, for example, if I'm in the column weapon, here will be the attribute's name. The same will be happening for column country. It's the same. And the last column, price. Here is price, and here price too. I need a data structure to store all the information that will be displaying my record table. So I need an object of type observable list from the package observable JavaFX collections, and the observable list is needed to parameterize it with weapon and FX collections. Observably array list. This data structure will store all the information. So here, where you after you created the columns, here you need to set the data structure to tell TableView that that data structure will be used for retrieving the data. So TableView set items and you pass the reference to weapons, and TableView automatically will look for the information and populate the TableView. So for example, if I what if I create a new weapon and an AK-47 from Russia, and price will be $1,000 or 1,000 bucks, and from weapons I will be adding the AK-47. So when I execute the code, the table is displayed, but here is an error. Module JavaFX base cannot be accessed by the class weapon. Why is this error happening to me? Oh, it's very easy. Here in the project, there is a module info Java, and the key is to provide access to the module Java base. So weapon opens the package name is models to JavaFX base, exports models. This instruction will allow the models package inside there is the weapon class, but what will happen is that the 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 model is requesting for information from a table view. So this need to be used when that happens. So it's needed the access to the JavaFX base to retrieve the information. It's like a child. A child is requesting his parent to access a soda in the fridge. So because the child has no the sufficient permissions to open the fridge, the parent will need to provide the access directly. For example, providing the child um, how do I say, providing a mechanism to get the item the child wants. So it's the same idea. So here I'm the programmer, I'm the parent, and the child is the weapon class. So I'm providing the weapon class, the access to the the base model. So it's a very tricky in the beginning, but with the practice will be clear. So you need to add this information. So when you compile again the project, the registry is displayed successfully, and you can add more registries as you need. Even in runtime execution, you can do that. For example, if I put a button here, and when the button gets clicked, a formulary is displayed here or a pop-up window, and the pop-up window will request me the data for populating the next position. So that's what TableView is created. That is the way that TableView is created and populated. The next step is to provide another object to the data structure. For example, if I want a second weapon, and I'll tell M4 from Navy SEALs USA, and M4 $900. I add when I add the weapon 2 and compile, the registries are added successfully. In the next video, I will show I will show you how to display a pop-up with a formulary and send data from the formulary to the table record, to the record table. So for the moment, that's all, and I hope it was helpful for you and you have a clear idea of how using TableView and how to construct, how to build the TableView and populate with objects. Remember, you need the model class or the weapon class to populate, because we are using objects, and objects are necessary to extract the information that the object contains and insert the information here. This is why I just created the getter method, because of that. If I need to modify the fields here, I need the setter method, because by by default, when you update the information, the default methods, setter methods, are called by TableView. The same thing happens when you create here the getter methods. The the getter methods are called implicitly by the TableView to retrieve the information. So something important, because if you create a model with the constructor but not with the getter method, you will get an error. For example, if I'm not providing the getter methods and compile the program, there is errors. See? Here the message tells me I cannot retrieve property price in property value factory because the getters are necessary. So put attention to that, and you don't struggle with problems.